Okay. I'm trying out a different microphone, and it may be all scratchy. I'm not sure. It may be too low to hear, but I'm gonna. This is more or less a test video, but we're gonna see what happens. So here I am again tonight, not able to sleep, which is a pretty regular occurrence these days. Thinking about the world conditions and so forth. Not that I'm stressed, but it is worth thinking about the places we find ourselves. One of the things I was thinking about, after we just experienced the Elenin thing, is after doing some more videos and hearing some more news stories, and now we have this 55 Y2, what is it? YU-55 asteroid that is going to be closer to us than the moon here in the next day or so. And it dawns on me that though I heard a bit of a couple of news stories on the national news, I hadn't heard a whole lot about it. And then back in the Elenin process, we just heard gobs and gobs, and the people were all very interested, and as we all were, in seeing what possibly may happen. And to tell you the truth, I'm still not sure what the hell happened with Elenin. It seems like there was some talk that it changed courses. There was some talk that it was hit by a solar flare, wave of from a neighboring star's eruption that broke the thing up, and they were never really clear on what the hell happened. It just all kind of disappeared with no good pictures, or it left me wondering if there ever was a comet Elenin, or if it was just an exercise, or maybe something to do with the thing that's happening now. Because what we have is an asteroid that's a pretty big ass rock that nobody's really paying attention to. And could it be that the Elenin was to deflate our sense of interest and desensitize to us? One of the things I heard some of the videos, and one of the things that makes sense to me is that FEMA is doing a test about the same day that this comet is supposed to be close to us. I find that odd. Also, the National Coast Guard is doing a practice run of the tidal waves, which is also on the same day. And I made a little video that was bringing up, I wanted to bring people's attention to the fact that they were having this nationwide test, and they were going to be using words that were confusing. They're trying to warn us that it's only a test, but in the actual warning, some of us are going to see warning, not test, but the word warning. And to me, that's purposely trying to spread confusion. Because if it's only a test, then why in the hell would you just simply use the word on all the avenues of the test that it is a test, and state that it's a test? Why even state that it's a warning at all? So that piqued my interest into thinking that something might have been in the works. So after doing a few more videos and looking at the Y255 or whatever it is, looking at it, this thing actually has the potential for being more potentially dangerous to our planet than the comet did. And then if you look at the energy of the people looking and learning about it and spreading controversies and conspiracies and those types of things, they're way down as opposed to the Elenin thing. So I think that's worth a mental note. It's also worth to watch these cycles of these things as they unfold. Obviously, they're being manufactured. Obviously, they are. I'm not talking about the asteroid. But what I'm talking about being manufactured is the level of interest that we as a people, as a whole, have toward them. The level of concern that we have as a people toward them. All those things seem to be in control. They seem to be manufactured, manipulated, and monitored, and it's up to the powers that be that just how much interest we take in these things. Okay, all that being said, so here we are, a day or two before this is supposed to happen. I forget what day this is. It's probably around the 8th or something. But a day or two before all this is supposed to happen, actually it's November 7th, that a little more information is eking out about the president's going to be, I think, in Maui or somewhere with a lot of other world leaders having some type of summit or something. And it's all looking like they're either trying to fuel uh, the thought of something possibly happening, or they're simply taking precautions. I know if I was them, I would be taking precautions. And I remember when Elenin was supposed to be getting close or having some effect, they were all hanging out around the Denver airport, and I'm sure we all know what the Denver airport is. It is, in fact, an underground safety bunker. It is an apocalyptic life vest, a reserve, if you will, for the upper echelons. So they kind of ended up there during Ellen, and here this time they ended up in Maui with a pretty nice collection of world leaders. So it makes me think of the cycle. It makes me think of what's going on and why. We watch these things every time they're fed to us, and I do not use the term fed to us loosely because it is fed to us. It comes via the internet, via the media, and let's face it, people. None of us really have a telescope strong enough to see if these things really are there or not. And I've been watching and posting a lot of the Perfect Mind stuff on the internet since the conception of the Elenin worry. And I thought that he was a good one to watch, basically, because he's not so much as a religious person, though he says he's spiritual, but he's not a very well studied person, and or I'm assuming he's not because he doesn't profess or talk about it too much. But so I thought it would be a good neutral avenue to watch this type of person's thoughts on Elenin. And when I say this type of person, I mean a star watcher. He's got access to some very nice telescopes, and he has some smaller telescopes, and he takes pictures and posts them and gives us his honest opinion. And he plays good cop, bad cop with the conspirators. So he just engaged in a talk the other night with one of the larger doomsday sayers, and he respectfully did an interview with him and listened to what he had to say, and of course all the usual rhetoric and all the usual possibilities, and all of them were way out there in left field about what possibly happened, what possibly could happen with this asteroid. And just to cover that in short, is basically there's a chance that the asteroid in question will hit the moon. If it hits the moon, he says not to worry. It's only going to be a great light show, as in tons of rock and so forth will come off of the moon from the explosion, and the Earth's gravity will grab onto it and pull it towards Earth, and it will enter our atmosphere and make a really super cool light show. And of course, the worst case scenario would be that the asteroid's trajectory would put it at hitting Earth, which would be another horse of another color. Then we would have catastrophic if not at least near catastrophic events. A lot of people dying and freaking out, typical end of the world type of thing. So those are the two possible ways that can go. I'm watching to see if there's going to be any better pictures than what we have now come of it. I'm curious to see if it's going to come as close as what NASA says it is. And if the numbers are wrong, if it doesn't come as close, as it doesn't come the distance closer between us and the moon, I think we all have to ask ourselves, why are we getting this information or this misinformation? Obviously, NASA has the instrumentation that it needs to gauge, adjust its hypothetical guesses of where these things are going to pass. They've done it with other rocks and so forth and things that it's been on the money. So we got to ask ourselves: are they sending us misinformation on purpose? Is it a test? Is it just something that they don't really have control over yet? So I'm thinking that whatever is going on, somebody's in control over it. And inevitably, we all know that the Spirit of God is in control over it. One thing I've come to learn over the past few years is no matter what the hands of man does, it's the Spirit within that man that pushes man to do the things he do. Whether it's a good spirit or bad spirit, man is indelibly controlled by a spirit. So, with that being said, I understand and know that God is in control. So I also understand, though the flesh eyes like to look at the flesh hands of God, it's the spirit eye that likes to look at the Spirit of God for the answers and for so forth. So no matter what happens, it's going to be, the Spirit of God is definitely going to be in control over it. Therefore, it's going to be for mankind's best. Whether it be a fiery end, that's foretold in the Bible, or whether it's going to be just another possible in the end time scenario that comes and goes like ships in the night that never really amount to anything, but somehow we seem to think it's okay. We can be fed misinformation, believe it, and put our watchful eyes on it, and then if it doesn't unfold the way they say, hey, for some reason we don't even talk about it. Why didn't this unfold? Why were they misinforming us? Why all these things, which could be the very thing we should be looking at as we see these cycles come and go. There seems to be somebody playing with the psyche of the conspirators and using the energy of the conspirators to obtain a goal. And that's an interesting phenomenon and concept and all its own, because that's a powerful energy. If you stop to think about the amount of money conspirators generate and produce, and of course money being power, power being the motivational force between most of these types of things. If you realize just how much money is being moved, then we probably could track down the source of most of the misinformation out there. And then we have to come to the conclusion that NASA is very much a part of that misinformation, because they are right in there playing the game with the conspirators as feeding them with the misinformation. So that being said, I think it's going to be an interesting couple of days. We can all set up our scopes. I know we have a fairly decent amateur scope, and I'm sure it'll be trained on the moon the night that they say the thing is going to get close to us, just in case it smacks into the old moon and gives us this great light show that some of them are promising us on the internet. Life-changing event it could be. More likely than not, nothing will happen, just like all the rest of these end of the world scenarios. And in a way, they can be life-changing too if we watch enough of these things come and go and unfolded and with nothing happening. They can be life-changing too, because it can teach your psyche things. And in this day and time, that's a big deal. we should we should be learning from all this. So anyway, I just want to make a quick video and bring these things to our attention that in fact we got a pretty heightened couple of days where our eyes and minds should be trained to the stars. You know, God gave us the stars and the planets for a sign. And then, though I'm sure these types of things look silly to most, I think it's very important that we do not, what would be the word? In other words, we should pay attention to the signs that God has given us. And the stars and the planets are definitely one of those signs. So look up God's Owners and YouTubers on the 8th and 9th and take note of what goes on, and more important than that, take note of what the internet says about the things if nothing goes on. Take note if there are no good pictures. Take note if they had the capability to get really good pictures of this thing and for some reason they didn't. Take note if it just comes and goes like all the rest of them. Take note of all these things, because undoubtedly the powers that be behind these scenarios and these types of things are definitely playing a pretty big role in our future. So I'm going to end this video. It looks like we're up to almost 17 minutes now, and it's going to take a while for me to download this. And I'll take this last few seconds just as an opportunity to say hello to my friends at the God Zone on YouTube out there, and hope everybody's doing well. And we're going to talk to you guys later. Adios, people of Earth.